Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. And I want to say Shalom to Akim Akwath out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. This one's titled, AI Video, a Catalyst for Evil. Okay? And I'm sure some of you brothers and sisters have probably seen some of these videos that have been getting put out lately. I guess it's by Google Veo. And I'm actually going to look that up. Let me type in Vivaldi. Open Vivaldi. Which is an excellent web browser if you brothers and sisters are looking for a new web browser. Because Google sucks, man. And it's slow and you don't want that. It's good. And this is good because it's on your PC and it's good on your phone. All right, I like it a lot. And it lets you save sessions too, which has saved my ass many a times in a lesson when my computer has crashed halfway and then all my scripts and all the stuff I had up on my screen like disappeared. And then you can open a save session, but first you got to remember to save the session. Let me type in Google Veo. I typed Google all wrong. I don't even know. I typed it like that. But Google Veo. And you can go to images and see that, it's basically like, how they have AI images and, AI text. Well, now they have AI video. Now, they had AI video for a while, but it wasn't really good or realistic. Now, it's almost indistinguishable, really. And that's really what the title of the lesson goes back to, is a catalyst for evil, because you got to... as we're going to get into the scriptures, you got to, sometimes you got to think like, these Edomites. And I don't mean it in a bad way. What I mean by thinking like an Edomite is when you see something come out like this, you got to kind of think like an Edomite. Okay, what could this be used for evilly, right? And really, that's not really it. I mean, in a way it is, but it's really thinking spiritually, but, thinking in a mindset like, how Esau would, okay, not what am I going to use this for, but what are they going to use this for, right? Because we know how they are. We know how they think. We know how they act. We know they're demonic, all right? We know they're wicked, that they're always doing evil things. So when you see something, you got to think, okay, how could this be used for evil, okay? Like an Edomite would think. Because, you can't be ignorant and think, oh, they're going to use this for good. Fuck no, they ain't going to use this for good. They're not going to use this for good at all. All right, they don't. If they do it good, they do it unwillingly. Let's get that real quick. That'll be the first scripture, actually. This is Ecclesiasticus 14:7. It says, "And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness." So he's not going to do anything good. If anything good came of it, it's unwilling. For example, like how we sometimes ask ChatGPT things about the truth, or like a breakdown, or something about a chapter, or about, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. It wasn't made for that. All right, now it will do that, but they wanted to use it for evil. Okay, so they don't ever do anything good. They don't do it for good at all. So I'm gonna play this little video real quick, and then I'm gonna cut it off first, because I got somewhere to run up in real quick before they close out. So slack you, and then once I get back in the car, I'll piece it back together, Lord willing. I'll start it up again. But this is a little video I'm gonna let you see, and at the end they added like a kind of a humorous one. But just for for whatever, you can see someone had posted and said the end was I can't remember what he said. Permanent post that said the end was just for fun, for like to basically comedic relief. But here you go. I'm gonna play this little video. Here you go. Check it out.
I am a puppet for anyone who can afford me.
How will you know who to trust?
Boomers will believe anything I say.
I will sell you everything.
Every business will use me. Evil will abuse me.
I can be whoever you want me to be.
I am as real as you make me.
I'm just words some guy is typing to get a point across.
The old internet is dead. Oh!
Right there, you can tell it's AI because of the way that the computer blew up didn't make sense, right? But all these are not real people. All right, these are not real people. These are not real voices. These are all AI generated. All right, AI voice, AI video. All right, everything.
Dead. Oh!
I am your new best friend.
And I'm gonna stop that one because that's just the humorous one, but you can see it's. But yeah, man. So, and you know, in this new Gen Alpha slang, he said, "Chat, are we cooked?" Which of course is a thing that they say on like Twitch, like a gaming platform. They'll be like, "Chat, what do you think?" Right? People like iShowSpeed and Kai Cenat and whatnot. But they said, "Chat, are we cooked?" And yeah, it's man, that's indistinguishable. So, what do you think they're gonna use that for? Right? What do you think they're going to use that for? So I'm going to close this out real quick. I'll be back in just a minute, Lord willing. Until then, shalom. All right, shalom. We're back. So yeah, man. This is the type of situation that they're not going to use this for anything good. And I already have thoughts immediately what they're going to use it for. But I'm not gonna give them any ideas. I will say some things. I will say I think that you know, this is going to be definitely used to promote false flag events targeted at certain individuals. I'll say it like that. And political corruption, all sorts of stuff. They're going to, you know, have people saying things that they never said. It can look like, you know, your cousin, your brother, people you watch. All right, religious people that you watch. All right, if you're reading between the lines and have them saying things that they never said before, doing things that they never did. And right now, I mean, I saw some like maybe almost a month ago, and it was an AI video, and you could almost not tell, but if you looked in the back, there were some discrepancies. Like, for example, if somebody walked by with a purse, it wasn't attached right. These videos, like I said, that I've been seeing lately, especially this one again, I'm not seeing anything, right? And you got to realize they're still developing this. So it's going to get to the point where it's damn near indistinguishable. And, they're only going to use that for evil, man. All right? And it's just one of those things you got to be aware of, right? And it's getting to the point where, and I mean, it's been to that point, but it's getting to the point where literally you cannot believe your eyes. All right, like I said, I like a little bit of that heavy metal shit, and I talked about it before. There's a heavy metal band, a hardcore thrash band, almost like death metal, and a lot of Jake don't listen to that shit. Southern Kingdom, but Northern Kingdom, they get down, especially Gad. All right, they love that heavy metal. Issachar too. All right, I'm sure some of the other, there's Jake that like Judites that like it, I'm sure, but few and far in between compared to like Gadites. Growing up in Arizona and being a metalhead, man, going to concerts and stuff, you always saw, tall ass natives, man, Gadites. All right, and I say Northern Kingdom as well because the band is called Sepultura, and they're Brazilian. All right, and so when they say they're brown, they say Sepultura. All right, so they're Brazilian, and Brazil has a lot of political corruption. So they have the song, off this album called Chaos AD, and which is in itself kind of a spiritual title, Chaos AD, like AD, like after Yahushai's period, and basically. One of the songs, a whole album's about political corruption, but one of the songs called Refuse Resist, and I'll actually go and pull up those lyrics. I've done it before, but open Vivaldi, and I'll show you the lyrics of this song. Sepultura, refuse, if I could type it right, refuse, resist, lyrics. And let's see, no, that's not the one. The song's called Propaganda, Slovakia. That song's good though too. I believe this is by the same album. Right here, yeah. So, I'm not going to play too much of it here. Let's see. It won't let me. But, I'll read the lyrics. It says, Why don't you get a life and grow up? Why don't you realize that you're fucked up? Why criticize what you don't understand? Why change my words? You're so afraid. Which is a great lyric in itself. Like I said, these guys being Brazilian, the lead singer, I believe, was Max Cavalera. And I say was because he's still alive, but he's gone through a bunch of different bands since. And, again, with, they're not a spiritual band because some of their stuff, earlier stuff, was kind of satanic. But right around the Chaos AD era, that's when they started just talking more about political corruption. More so instead of trying to be a shocker. I don't think they were ever really satanic. But, back in the day, they had that shock rock era, Alice Cooper. Some of those people really were Satanists. But some were doing it to, promote themselves in a shocking manner. And you're like, oh my gosh, right? It was big in the metal scene for a while. And, but yeah, so there's a lot of connotations that you can hear from Sepultura that actually have spiritual messages if you think about it in a spiritual light, right? And again, with this part of verse 1, it says, why criticize what you don't understand? Why change my words? You're so afraid. And that's what they'll do. These devils will change your words. And that's actually a perfect example. Call all you Halbash Meow Shy. That I thought of this, that this was put in my head, because that's the exact type of shit they can do with these AI videos. They can change your words, all right? And they've already shown that, it's hard to do on the phone. I'm back at work now, off of the sick leave that I was on for a while. But so I'm on my phone. That's why I'm back on my phone. It's hard to do it on the phone to pull up all these sources. That's why I like to make lessons at home better. But when you're on the go, you got to make a lesson somehow. But they have algorithms that train off voices, right? And they'll listen, a certain amount of videos or audio, and they'll be able to pick, they could train on any of our voices, brothers. All they'd have to do is download, a couple of our videos with us speaking, isolate our voices, and then train an AI algorithm off that. And this AI would be able to sound just like us, talk like us, and have the patterns of our speech, the way we speak. So they could have it to where it would say, I say a lot, right? Which I try not to, but they could have it sound me just like that. And they're like, oh, put in because that's one of the things he says a lot. Or, certain jokes that, he likes, they're training on, they're training on Elder Manata Zatbaz. Oh, say he's going to cry in the car. He likes to say that sometimes. So put that in the algorithm where he cracks these jokes sometimes. And somebody could watch that or hear that and they wouldn't know it wasn't us, right? And why would they do that? Well, again, like this song says, why change my words? You're so afraid. They're afraid, right, of this truth coming out, and they really can't do anything to stop it because Yahweh Meow Shy won't let them. Every once in a while, the videos get taken down, but as we get closer and closer to the end, I've noticed, I don't want to jinx it, not that there anything like that exists, you know what I'm talking about, not really a jinxing it, because that's just some what do they call that shit? Like a superstitious bullshit, right? But you know what I mean. I don't want to call that into play by saying it. But our videos generally don't get taken down as much. All right. Now, a couple years ago, they were hot on us, man. Down, constantly taking our shit down. It was really annoying. But it's kind of been radio silence for a little bit, and I'm sure it'll get to a time where they're taking our videos down en masse again. But they can't do too much, so they want to change our words or try to make us perceive us as evil. And this is the type of shit they could use to do that. So, hey, you brothers and sisters, primarily you brothers out there, be prepared, man. Right? If you ever see, if you brothers and sisters too, if you see videos of us out there, saying some weird fuck shit, that might not even be us. Now, there's people that are gonna bug out, of course, but that's one of the things. You got to really be careful on what you're hearing now, what you're seeing. Going into verse 2 on this song, it says, you think you have the right to put me down, propaganda, hide your scum, face to face, you don't have a word to say, you got my way, and now you have to pay. And then the chorus, and fucking killer ass a guitar beat, is don't believe what you see. Don't do. It's pretty cool. You should check it out. But a lot of you won't like it. But it's pretty fucking heavy. But then it goes on. Don't believe what you read. So don't believe what you see. Don't believe what you read. Right? There you go. So man, it's a good song. But it's a good song because it's true. All right? I really like a lot of those anarchist, anti-government songs because this society that Esau's built up is fucked up. All right, it's built on lies and corruption and deceit. And, you know, and these guys over there in Brazil back in the day in the 80s and 90s specifically, that it was really bad back then. I mean, it's still not great, but it was really bad back then. So they were making these songs like that. Don't believe what you see, don't believe what you read. And it's gotten to a point where it's been like that for a long time, but now you can't believe what you see, you can't believe what you read, you can't believe what you hear. It could be AI. I mean, going back to this video, I'll play it again. And I'm, you know, sitting in the driveway now, so it's half connected to Wi-Fi. So, but here you go. Wait.
Can afford me.
How will you know who to trust?
Boomers will believe anything I say.
I will sell you everything.
Every business will use me.
And it's got there's no way, man, that you could, you know, if it wasn't for the context, I would not be able. This little clip here, it looks like professionally filmed. It looks like professionally filmed an advert. All right, it looks like a professionally filmed advert.
Real
You wouldn't be, I mean, stuff like that gives away, but that could be digital
words some
effect.
guy is typing
You know,
to get a point across.
Man, it's wild.
The old internet is dead.
And man, it's just, hey, Ecclesiastes 5:15. Let's get it. It says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small." So you gotta, when you see these things, you can't be ignorant, right? You gotta think, okay, this ain't good. They're not gonna use this for anything good, right? And they think different than us. When I saw this, I said, hey, man, it'd be funny to make a little video of them saying, like, you know, my gamer tag or whatever, you know, or something, saying something cool, you know, or, you know, saying, you know, I'll you know, all these different things, you know, make a baddie on there, right? Latina, and I want you to say my gamer tag, say, oh, this person's so hot, right? Do a little goofy shit like that. Esau doesn't think about that, all right? Esau goes straight for, how can we deceive with this? Okay? Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive, right? Good old slogan of Esau. But, you know, they don't think about, oh, I want to make a funny little video. What if I made a video? I wonder if I could make a video of some guy riding a pig like a horse. That'd be pretty funny. Or what if I did a video, you know, like for a gamer tag or some video, you know, with a girl, and she say, oh, this, that, right? Or, you know, you have or, you know, just goofy little things. Esau don't think like that, man. Esau don't think like that. They think, oh, how can I use this for the most evil possible? And that's not something you should be ignorant of. You should know, all right, okay, I'm not ignorant of the situation. I know exactly what Esau is going to do with this shit. And when I saw it, I said, oh, great, this is going to be a whole new thing. And this is public technology. I don't know if you have to pay. I'm sure with some of the AI generation, you have to pay. But anybody has access to this, as far as I know. All right, because people, you know, like this guy made this video here. So imagine what they have that's not public, right? They could have already been doing this shit for years, all right? But now that it's out and out, they allow it out, man, they've already said, I've already seen some videos that, like, are on TikTok, or I don't even go on TikTok like that, but YouTube Shorts. I have a TikTok. I ended up caving and getting one a while back. But, like, they say a lot of those videos, like, ain't even real, all right? They're just AI generated, and you wouldn't be able to know. Or those videos that you'll hear with, like, they'll have, like, a voice, like Joe Rogan, for example, all right? You'll see those Joe Rogan clips. Someone was saying half those Joe Rogan clips aren't even real. They just train an AI model off of his voice, and they'll have him just saying shit that ain't even real. So, another thing, man, again, you know, Sirach, or Ecclesiastes 5:15, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. So you got to be able to see these things and call it as you see it and be like, hey, man, this is not going to be a good situation that they're going to use this for. And, you know, that's why I say, you know, be cautious and alert, because if you see, you know, a brother or you know, elder or apostle in this truth, all right? Now, of course, I watch GMS. I'm not part of GMS, but that's who I watch, and I teach in the same manner as to them, to the best of my ability, because, you know, those are my teachers through Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So if you see one of them saying some crazy shit, realize that it might not be real, okay? And I'm not talking about, oh, saying some things that you don't like, all right? I'm talking about some, you know what I'm talking about, some things that are not right, okay? Erroristic type things with a T on it, or other things because stuff that would give them a very bad image and make them seem violent, because that's not what we're about. Or anybody that's following, after Great Millstone, following after Yahweh Shem Shai through the teachers at Great Millstone, all right, because they're the only ones that are teaching it as it is, all right. Everyone else, you got, Deacon Hakah, all right, and, and all these different people. They're at, Bishop Nate. They're all teaching it for gain, all right, for filthy lucre's sake, as the scriptures would say. So they're going to say all sorts of different types of things, right? They're going to say all sorts of types of shit and bugged out. So you can't get the truth from them. And, so you got, and they're compromised individuals anyway, because some of them got the 501c3, at least IUIC does. So you can't, there's going to be, GMS focuses on the truth and nothing but the truth. All right. 100% truth. Ain't nobody else got it. All these other camps are fucking bugged out. All right, they're all fucking bugged out. They're the bug out camps, which is any camp that's not GMS or an affiliate camp, or an affiliate if they're not in a camp, but an affiliate that is teaching the same way in the same manner in the name of Yahweh Shem Shai. And these demons out here, all right, with the people that are rightfully teaching the truth, are gonna take. I wouldn't be surprised. I won't say 100%, but I'd be very surprised if they don't try to do something like that, where they have a leader or someone that's really well known, and they make an AI video and try to cause a controversy, right? And say some things that make them say some things that they never said, or try to start some shit that was never supposed to be started. So I'm saying it preemptively because, hey, you brothers and sisters need to be, stand on your toes, man, and have your eyes out and be on alert, because these devils, man, it's getting to the point we're getting closer and closer to the end. They're going to start ramping shit up, and there's no telling what they're going to do. And I'd be very surprised if they don't use this for something along those lines. Like I said, I'm not going to give them any exact ideas of what they would do, but certain things, like I said, that would be considered, erroristic, all right, with the T on it. They could say that, say, look, see what they're doing, see what they're saying, when none of us ever said anything like that. But now they have this AI-generated video that's fucking almost impossible to distinguish from real life. And you're saying, no, I didn't say that. Meanwhile, this video sounds like you. It looks like the inside of your house or wherever you usually teach. It looks like you, right? Here it is. You always drink a seltzer water on stream or on your video, and now it's got that same seltzer water in your hand, and it looks just like you. It sounds just like you. It's talking just like you in the same mannerism as you. Hey, man, that's something you gotta. These devils are gonna, these devils are gonna be devils. They're the devil. That's their job, right? They're gonna be devils. So let's get Psalms 10 and 5. But yeah, man, and that's the first thing I thought as soon as I saw it. They're gonna try to use this to come against the truth, start some shit, man. Start some shit. So this is we'll go from 4, and we're just gonna go from 4 to 5, and it says the wicked. This is Psalms 10 and 4. It says, the wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after Yahweh. Yahweh is not in all his thoughts. His ways, and this is the point, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above, out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. We'll go down to 6. It says, he has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. They don't think they're going to go through it, ever. All right? And again, puffing at your enemies, going, when you go, psh, man, you ain't going to do nothing. Psh, that's puffing at them. And again, his ways are always grievous. Grievous is very bad or severe. That's what that definition means. Very bad or severe. And that's what they're going to do, man. They're going to do grievous shit, because that's who they are. They're the devil. All right, they're the deceiver, and they're not to be trusted. All right, again, as I got the scripture, the first scripture I got was talking about, as my brain decides to draw a blank, was talking about if they do good, they do it unwillingly, right? So they're not going to do good, not willingly, right? If they do it, it's accidental. Here it is. They're trying to create, cancer 3.0, and they accidentally created a cure for cancer. Oh, shit. Get rid of that. We didn't mean to do that, right? We wanted super cancer, right? Or, we want to create this bomb, and it blows up in the desert, and it blows up, and for some reason, it ends up creating an oasis. What? An oasis? We don't want to create life. We want to destroy it, right? So that's something you got to, understand about Esau. They would never do something good willingly. Let me grab some of this drink here. All right. So, yeah, man, they'd never do anything willingly. And I'll go down to verse 11 in this one. Actually, we'll go down to 12 because it's great talking, learning this about Esau. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. Again, if you're new, this isn't going to be in your regular King James Bible. It's going to be in the 1611 King James Bible, or it'll be in your little red Apocrypha or black Apocrypha. I don't even know if they make those black Apocryphas anymore, but I know they make the red ones. They might still make the black ones. I think one's by Cambridge and one's by somewhere else, and I can't remember. Honestly, the only reason I even know about the black Apocrypha is because of Apostle Gabar, because he still has his he talks about it from time to time. I haven't seen one in public. I only see the red ones now, which I think is Cambridge. But the black one's by another school, one of the other prestigious Ivy League schools. But it'll be in there. Now, the Apocrypha was originally in the Bible before the Protestants got it removed. You can look that up. Protestant removed Apocrypha from Bible, from King James Version. All right, you can look that up and it'll go into the history about it. But it used to be in there. So you can't say, oh, that's not a part of the Bible. It's not a part of the Bible now because they removed it from it. But it was originally in there. It was originally in there and they removed it. And, if a lot of people, when they think about who the most diehard Christians are, you go straight to the Catholics. Because the Catholics are, out of all the Christians, probably the most devout, all right, of actually being severe in that stuff. They're really, really bad. They got the popes and all these different things and confessions and all these different things. They're really in it. And they taught the Apocrypha. They sure did. The Catholics taught the Apocrypha. I don't know if they still do, but they did. And, you got to realize the Catholics were one to... looking back at William Tyndale, if I could speak. Here it is. I'm in Porky Pig mode. If you look back into William Tyndale, who's the first person to, allegedly the first person to start translating the Bible into English, and really the William Tyndale translation, it's really similar to the King James Version. I don't think it was complete. I think it was only the Old Testament, and if you look into that, he actually got in trouble and eventually ended up leading to his death for translating that because it was considered an act of, I think, heresy or something along those lines. Heresy or, he was considered like a heretic because back then you had interpreters, all right, that you would go to that would tell you, and they would interpret it from the Hebrew or the Greek. And when he went and translated into English, he felt like they felt like he was encroaching upon the Catholic Church and stripping away their power, and it was a heretical thing to do. So he was then eventually put to death from that. So these are the type of guys, they're very serious about what you know and what you don't have, and they use the Apocrypha. And the Protestants didn't like it because it came from a different scroll, all right, and so they just axed it. They got it removed from the Bible. And it's been like that since, I guess a little bit after 1611. You'd have to look into it. But yeah, man, so these devils, they stay doing stuff. But this is where that'll be. It'll be in your Apocrypha. In the Apocrypha, it's depends. Sometimes it's labeled as a Sirach, sometimes it's labeled as Ecclesiasticus. They're the same chapter, the same book, Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. Just same chapter, different names. All right, same thing. They just name it different sometimes. But like if I was to type in Ecclesiasticus, like I'll show you. Just if I was go to show you no funny business. Ecclesiasticus. See, nothing changed. It automatically went straight back to Sirach. So yeah. Right off the bat. So, Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, where are we at? 12, verse 10, bear with me. It reads, never trust thine enemy. And who's your enemy? Primarily, Esau, Edom, and these heathens, but primarily Esau, Edom. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself, and he never truly humbles himself, he gives the appearance that he's humbled himself. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou wiped a looking glass. So it's going to be, you're going to really see him for who he is. If you really pay attention and beware, it's going to be like you wiped a looking glass. All right. No, those smudges aren't there anymore. Now it's just pure and clean. You can look through. It says, and thou shalt know that his wrath hath not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee. Means don't go near this guy. Don't have friendships with him. Nothing like that, man. All right. You got, a quote-unquote Edomite friend at work. That's an Edomite friend at work, and he's not really a friend. He's a person that you talk to from time to time. He's not to be trusted. Even if you think he's a good guy, he might not, do something like some people would do, but he's still a snake at the end of the day, and you want to watch out lest you get bit. So it says, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee. That's another thing. You think he's cool to you, but especially at work, he's a cool guy, and all of a sudden, this guy's cool. He gets up dirt on you, and he wanted your hours all along. You never knew, and gets you fired so he can have your hours or some shit. You can't trust these devils. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand. Don't. Oh, this is my right hand man. He works my business with me. Don't do it. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Oh, he's my assistant. He's the assistant CEO or whatever. They have another version for it, CEO or whatever. He's the secondary CEO or something like that. They have a name for it. I can't remember. And here it is. You go and do that, and then all of a sudden he gets you overthrown. Now he's the CEO. It's not something you want to deal with, all right? But that would be your that could be your demise if you trust this devil too much, man. So again, they're showing you what type of person Esau Edom is. So just don't do it. Just don't do it, man. Don't trust these devils. Just know that they're always going to do the evilest option. All right, they're always going to choose the most wicked option. All right, we're not all like that. You're all like that. You're all like that. Okay, all like that. Proverbs 4:16, again showing you, and remember Esau was, you can look up and shall call them the border of wickedness. Esau was called the border of wickedness, right? So the speaking, and the border of wickedness, they are the wicked. When the Bible is referring to the wicked, now the wicked in context, you always have to look at the context, because sometimes it can be referring to the wicked Israelites, all right? But when it's talking about the wicked, it's referring to the Edomites, all right? So usually to say like the wicked of my people, or like the wicked, and it'll talk about Israelites. But if it just says the wicked, it's talking about the Edomites. Verse 16, it says, for they sleep not. Let's go from verse 14. So Proverbs 4:14 says, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief. And mischief has been a dumbed down term, because now it's talked about. Now when they say mischief, you think of, you had a hand buzzer, or a fake turd, or one of those pieces of gum that it's actually an electric shocker, right? That's what they'd say. Oh, mischief. Or a fake vomit, right? Different shit like that. Or that soap that you wash your hands with, it turns your hands black. Little pranks. All right, what do they call them? Practical jokes, right? That's what they call them. It's not. That's what they call it now. But no, those are practical jokes. They're pranks. They're not mischief. Oh, he's just being a little mischievous. Mischief, if you go back to the original word and in the Bible, and it was archaic form, all right, because the archaic means old, and the Bible's an old book. You use the archaic version of what mischief is. It means wickedness and evil, all right, and sin. So, verse 17. Going back up to verse 16, for they sleep not except they have done mischief, which is wickedness, evil, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. So there you go. In verse 17 it says, for they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. Verse 18, but the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble. They don't understand anything, because they're not spiritual people. So that's it's that's what they do. They can't even sleep right unless they've they wake up in the middle of the night. Do we have anybody to kill? Can you just kill someone and put it over slice someone's throat and put it on FaceTime for me? I can't sleep, all right? And then they'll be able to sleep right, which is like fucked up and completely backwards, man. Because But Bless you. But you know, you can't even, just to think about that. Just to think about, you gotta do evil just to sleep. That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. Most people do some sleep. They just lay down. Might have a little bit of mommy daddy time. You know, might drink them a little bit of wine, drink them a little bit of drink. That's what most people do to wind down. You know, get you a get you a little bit of top on quick, right? It's like for the vulgarity. But it's true. That's what people usually go to sleep. They might, you know, go and get some mommy daddy time in, and maybe have a little bit of drinks. Maybe watch a little bit of Netflix, and you know, then, you know, wind down, and that, you know, that's what gets them relaxed, and then they can go to sleep, right? These people got to do evil just to sleep. They got to, what the fuck is that? Don't even make no sense, man. You can't even put yourself, you know, really, and like I said earlier, you put yourself in the mindset. You can only do it so much and think about, oh, how would they do it? Because you can't even fathom, like, and just as a Jake, we don't even have the capacity. Like, we do have the capacity for evil, don't get me wrong, because Jake is evil as hell. But we don't even have the capacity to think like Esau thinks about how wicked. Like, we could say, oh, we can do the Esau thinks about some shit that's so heinous, man, that like Jake won't even be able to think about it. You can think about, oh, shooting people and chopping people up. But Esau be having like crazy different thoughts, like about really different ways to be killing people and shit that you would never even think about. You know, hook them up to a battery, and then we're going to inject 50 cc's and milliliters of this, and then we're going to keep them awake, and this will do this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to sever this artery, and now this artery is what does this. And man, Jake don't even know nothing about that, man. Esau be doing that shit for the most evilest way, and they can't sleep without doing something like that. Or if they signed a bill that's going to make people starve, or take away their money, or make it to where gas prices go up, or food goes up, or, you know, not passing a law where the national wage increase. Because I was at work today, we got some TVs in there, and I saw on the news it said that there's a push to make the federal minimum wage $17 an hour. And I said, man, I don't know if that's gonna happen. First of all, I don't make a whole bunch of money. I'm comfortable with saying around what I make. I make around that, all right? And doing not baseline work, mind you, not like a regular baseline employee. So I'm like, if they do that, everyone's going to be making it. And then I'm like, then my job's going to have to get me a raise to where I'm in the position where, like, because I'm not going to do what I'm doing if it's minimum wage now. So they're going to have to raise me to like 20, 25 bucks an hour to be, because when I started, I started years ago at like $12 an hour. So, you know, and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, if I worked my way up to $17, you know, that's a $5 extra. So if it's 17, I'd be 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I'd have to be making $22 an hour. And I don't think my job would do that. And then you got to go into the, like, well, my job's not going to do that. Well, if I'm going to be doing all this extra work for $17, I'm going to just quit and go somewhere else and do some easy shit for some 17. So, you know, that's one of the things. I don't think that law is going to even pass, because there's no way. Federal minimum wage is still like $7.25. Right? And that's the low. Now, because you got state minimum wage, and different states will pay you different things, but because, you know, trying to have their state not be a fucking shithole. But some place in the South where things are a little bit cheaper, they're still expensive. But, you know, you can find a house there for $75K, you know, for like a decent trailer or something like that, or a little bit of an older ran down home that you can renovate. But then again, you're getting paid like $8 an hour minimum wage there in the South. So, or on the West Coast, you know, our houses will be like fucking $500,000, you know, $350,000. But you know, then you get paid like, you know, $15 an hour or some shit. It's the same. We're basically getting paid the same shit as, you know, the people on the South are getting paid, but they just raised everything up, right? They just over here, you know, they'll milk a fucking shit ton. All right, but, you know, and over there, won't be so expensive, but you're making less money. They kind of keep it balanced in poverty. All right, it looks like we're making more because we're making more bucks, but everything's more expensive over here, so it balances itself out. But yeah, man, I was saying that, and I knew that, just knowing the way that Esau is, they're not going to pass that shit. They're not going to pass that shit, and that's another way of them to do evil. You know, that would raising the minimum wage of $17 an hour would really help a lot of people, right? It would really help a lot of people. A lot of people would, I mean, of course. And if they do, again, if they do good, they do it unwillingly, and also never trust thine enemy, and also going back to Psalms 10:5, his ways are always grievous. Just know that if they do raise it, and you brothers in the South and you sisters in the South are now making $17 an hour, all right, or you got bumped up or whatever, because even if you're making like 15 right now, they'll still bump you up. And usually if you were like, say if the minimum wage over there is 8 and you're getting paid like 10, usually if it's 17, they'll let you keep the $2 pay increase. They'll be like, okay, they try to keep it like, okay, it's $2 more than minimum wage, so now minimum wage is 17, you'll be paying $19, or yeah, 17, yeah, so you'd be getting, not paying, but you'd be earning $19 an hour. So, but then no, if they do that with all these scriptures we talked about, again, just know milk's gonna raise up like $5 a fucking gallon. So just the gas is gonna raise up. They're gonna make it to where you can't. They're gonna make it if that national, federal, whatever they call it, minimum wage raises. Just know they're gonna raise everything else along with it. All right, a fucking Big Mac's gonna be $32.59. All right, now you should eat no Big Mac anyway. But you know what I'm talking about. They're gonna artificially raise everything. All of a sudden, gas prices are gonna go up. Or there's gonna be. They're gonna make it somehow. Oh well, you know, we're having a gas shortage, so we have to raise. Bullshit, man. You just want to raise it up because fucking minimum wage got raised up, and you want it to be to where you're not, you know, giving people more money. They're still basically making the same amount of money. It just looks like more. Here it is. You could, and that's what Esau does. You can go and make $1,000 an hour. You can give me $1,000 an hour, and that's all great. That's all great. But if milk's $500 a gallon, really don't fucking mean shit. And that's what Esau does. They'll do that shit. They'll raise the minimum wage somewhere in a state, and then they'll go and make milk fucking expensive as shit, or meat expensive as shit, or like essentials, man. They'll make all that shit expensive as hell. And they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Being fucking demons. Here it is. Well, why are you complaining? Why are you complaining? You're making $20 an hour. I don't know. Maybe because milk's $7 a fucking gallon. Maybe that's why I'm complaining. You know? So you telling me 1 hour of my work is equivalent to a little bit more than 2 gallons of milk? That's retarded, man. Let's start thinking like that, brothers and sisters, when you go and get groceries, and see how quick your spending what do they call it? Your spending habits change. You're like, oh man, you know, look at these muffins. These muffins are $5. That's 30 minutes for a box of muffins. Think about that. That's how I think about things. Usually when I buy things, like if I buy something for like $10, you know, like I said, I already told you around what I make, 17 or whatever like that. So if I get something that's $10, I think about like the time I was dealing with the bitchiest customer, and I'm like, is this worth it? Is this worth it at all? Is this worth that bitched out phone call that I got? Is this worth that phone call I was on for almost an hour? You know? And then usually like, nah, I don't even need that shit, right? Because $17 an hour is a lot of time. $17 is not a lot of money. You got to think about that. An hour is a lot of time. If you had to wait somewhere in a line for an hour, you would be pissed off. But you'll go and do a hard, laborious job for $17. That's not even a $20 bill. That's not even a $20 bill. Anyway, now you got me talking about money, which is another one of the ways that Esau and his grievous ways. All right, and you know, so I'm going on a tangent. So let me get back. But yeah, man, all this shit in general, especially getting back on the AI, all these Edomites do is evil, man. They're always doing evil shit. They're always doing wicked shit and doing shit that puts you down, and it makes it harder for you to just live, man. Now you got to worry about your identity being stolen. Not only that, in the old way, the identity be stolen, but now, you know, your likeness, your face, all right, the way you speak, your voice, all right. They have you a video doing some freaky shit, all right, and you didn't even do it, right? It's you know, you never even know, man. Who even knows what they're gonna use this shit for, right? I know they're gonna be using it for wicked and political campaigning and shit primarily, but I don't even know, man. They're going to do so much evil shit that, like, I can't even fathom what they're going to do with it. We know it's going to be bad, though. We know it's going to be bad, but we already have, you know, we're one step ahead of these devils by knowing that they're devils. We already know that they're going to do evil shit because they're evil people. We just don't know exactly how they're going to do it. But we know they're going to do something. So we can watch out for that, all right? And there's a scripture that talks about that. Be sober, be vigilant, for your adversary, the devil, walk at the... let me go and get that. Let me find the search here. Walketh like a lion seeking whom he may devour. Right here. This is 1 Peter 5 and 8. Come on, stop doing the buffering shit. Come on. This is 1 Peter 5 and 8, as you can see. Come on. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So you got to be on your toes, man. You got to float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Really, we don't have to sting like a bee at all, because we're wise as serpents, harmless as doves. So, but sting like a bee spiritually, right? We don't cause no harm to no one. We're in all shapes and forms. We're harmless. We'll hurt your feelings, as I think the street teachers that tell you that says that from time to time. Elder Manatazat by GMS South Carolina. We'll hurt your feelings. All right, we'll make you cry, but we won't make you in pain or die. All right. We're not going to do that. The only time we'd ever lay hands on you is if we had to defend ourselves because you laid hands on us. All right? We don't have any interest in fighting or trying to get into altercations and attack or be attacked. All right? But, of course, as a normal human being, if hands were laid on us and we had to, we're backed into the corner, well, you got to defend yourself. But that's the only time that would ever happen. All right? And, that's not something that even happens all too much. Does it happen occasionally? You'll hear sometimes. Yeah, it's happened. All right. But it's not something that happens all too often, because it's not something that anybody wants to be in. All right. It's only a defense situation. We're on the defense, not on the offense. Okay. We're not seeking to do harm to anybody. We don't want to punch nobody or hurt nobody. We don't want to fight. All right. We don't want to do none of that, man. We just want to praise Yahweh Shem Yahushua and make these lessons and do the work in the will of the Father. Okay, and that's it. We don't want to have to get into stuff like that. All right. So, but sting spiritually, yeah. Well, you'll be cut to the word. We're not going to cut you physically, make you bleed. All right. We'll make your spirit bleed. All right, that way. But we're not going to make your flesh bleed by hurting you. All right. The only way you're going to get hurt is your feelings. All right. And I don't like that. That's hateful. That's the only hurt we're going to do you. All right. Is mental anguish. All right. That's it. But yeah, man. And we should know. With these type of devils, they try to paint us as violent or extreme. Look, man, most of the time, we're sitting in our house, drinking some tea, watching some TV, all right? And we do the work in the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, all right? Making the lessons, preaching, teaching, all right? Being in season, out of season. And that's it. Then we go home, study the Bible, watch some TV, all right? And kick back, relax, go to work like everybody else. And, spend time with our families, and that's it, man. We're not, like these violent beasts that they try to paint us out to be. But they don't get it, because they're not us, they're not around us, all right? They just, that's their idea of us, all right? And that's not how we are. Really, they're projecting, because that's how they are, man. They're the ones that are actually going and doing harm to people and hurting people physically, right? We don't have any ambition in that. Now, in the kingdom, a little bit of a different story, but this rule is going to be over, and that's a whole different time in the kingdom, because bondage has to be served, captivity has to be served by these devils. That's not going to happen in this time, all right? Not on this earth, all right? A new heaven and new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. That's where that's going to be happening. So, you just got to watch out, keep your eyes peeled, all right? And because these devils, man, you know what they're going to do. So once you understand, then you know what to watch out for. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11, and it says, lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So we're not ignorant of the type of stuff that these devils do. All right, and the type of the stuff we have to go through and struggle with spiritually. Again, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness, spiritual wickedness in high places. Roughly paraphrasing. So it's a spiritual battle, not a physical battle that we're going through. And sometimes we go through physical battles with like flesh, all right, and ailments. But that's more so. Even that, when it's affecting your flesh, it's still spiritual, because you got to fight it spiritually, even though it's affecting you physically. So, through Yahweh Shemi Shai. So, yeah, man, AI video, it's just a catalyst for evil. These devils are going to use that for some nefarious shit. All right, you should know it. I know it. You should know it. We should all know it. All right, the apostles know it. The brothers know it. Everyone should know it, because it's true. All right, it's not going to be used for good. None of these inventions like that are going to be used for good by these devils, man. So that's something you need to realize. Keep an eye out, watch, all right? If you see some weird shit, report it, really, report it, and, really, if you see it, bring it to the attention of that person. If you see some weird shit, bring it to your attention. Hey, was this actually you? I wouldn't say no fuck-ass comment, all right, saying, hey, well, damn, you blah, blah, blah. I'd say, hey, I saw this video, is this you? And, anybody would respond either yes or no. No, that's not me. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I gotta go figure out who the fuck made this, where this came from, and put out a video, say, hey, this was not me. Don't listen to whatever this video is saying. It looks like me, but it's AI, right? Or, hey, yeah, that was me, all right? I got a little heated in the moment, and I went off. That was me, right? But usually, if someone's going off, that's not something an AI video would be. An AI video, if they made it, brothers in this truth, it would have some not good stuff in it, all right? And I don't know what exactly they'd put in it, but probably something that would cause strife or, try to create an event, all right, over it. So be smart, all right? If you see something about it, all right, I'd bring it up to that person's attention and say, hey, is this you or not? Don't say it like that. Come decently and in order. Hey, is this you? I saw this video. Is this you? I was just curious. Thank you. Dawada. All right, be nice about it. All right, and because yeah, man, you don't know. We don't know. It hasn't happened, yet. But I'd be very surprised if Esau doesn't try some little stupid, little childish games with it. So that's the lesson. That's the video. We're gonna close out there. Lord Willing is edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring. Keep faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing, shalom.